Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We will chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavaditamastu ma vitvishavahay. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 11 to 15 of chapter 3. Devan bhavayatanena,
Devan bhavayatanena,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
te deva bhavayantu vaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
parasparam bhavayantaha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Shreyah paramavapsyatha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
Ishtan bhogan hi vo devaha,
dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
dasyante yajna bhavitaha,
taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
taidattana pradayaibhyaha,
yo bhunkte stena eva saha,
yo bhunkte stena eva saha,
yajna shishtashinah santaha,
yajna shishtashinah santaha,
muchyante sarvakilbishaihi,
muchyante sarvakilbishaihi,
bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
bhunjate te tvagam papaha,
ye pachantyatmakaranat,
ye pachantyatmakaranat,
annad bhavanti bhutani,
annad bhavanti bhutani,
parjanyadanna sambhavaha,
पर्जन्यादन्नसम्भवः
यज्ञाद्भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञाद्भवति पर्जन्यः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
यज्ञः कर्मसमुद्भवः
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
कर्म ब्रह्मोद्भवं विद्धि
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
ब्रह्माक्षरसमुद्भवम्
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
तस्मात् सर्वगतं ब्रह्म
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
नित्यं यज्ञे प्रतिष्ठितम्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So, in the last session, we were seeing the first line, especially the phrase Yajna Bhavitaha, from verse number 12. So, Yajna, generally translated as sacrifice, and Bhavitaha, it is having the bhava, the intention. So, as I was telling you last week, that the moment he repeats this word again and again, you have to pause and go more deep into it, because a master repeats something when it is very important for you. That doesn't mean other things are not important, but when something is very crucial and he knows that if you change this within you, or if you follow this, all your issues can get resolved, then he will start emphasizing on that and he will start repeating it. When it comes to the Upanishads also, there are a few places where they repeat a principle. It's not done all the time, but here and there. So at that time, again, the student is supposed to wake up. Like in one of the Upanishads, when he talks about that formless reality, Brahman. Now, what he is trying to demolish there, the master, is the preconceived notions which a student has about God. Everyone has his or her own concept, no? So, verse after verse, he says that, for example, that which cannot be seen with the eyes, that is, that which enables you to see is God, not what you see. Tadeva brahmatvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate, he says. That alone is Brahman, not what you are worshipping here right now. God, or that supreme reality, is that which makes you hear, which gives you the power to hear. The power behind the act of hearing is God, not what you're hearing. Tadeva brahmatvam viddhi nedam yadidam upasate. God, or that infinite reality, is that which makes you feel, not what you're feeling. He goes on, Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi, nedam yadida upasate. So the fact that he is repeating it verse after verse, automatically the student becomes very alert. If the student is truly attuned to the master, then he'll be able to pick up that energy. The attunement is the key. Any amount of advice and all these things will not change a person. It is only when the person's energy pattern changes that that person can create a new thought structure. As long as the energy pattern remains the same, trying to change merely the thoughts and energy alone will not work. That will help, that will be conducive, but the real sadhana is in changing the energy pattern. So when the master is guiding the students, he may use certain tools like words, like it may be in the form of a discourse, it may be in the form of a mantra, it may be in the form of certain other practices. All these things may be given, but per se they will not create a transformation, though they are all just tools to communicate a certain energy pattern. Unless the student receives that higher energy and changes his or her energy pattern from within, the real transformation will not take place. So that's why as a sadhak, you should always focus on attunement. What is it that you are attuned to? Are you attuned to the master's external appearance? And are you stopping with that? Or are you attuned to his emotions? Or are you attuned to his thoughts, ideas? Or are you attuned to his energy? When I say his energy, it's not the master's energy, because a true master is one who is connected with the infinite. Therefore, the infinite energy will be flowing. So generally, we find a lot of people get attuned merely to the externalities of a master. Oh, he is a great saint. Why? Because he is wearing this particular dress. Or he's looking like this, he's looking like that. Now, these are all actually secondary. At different periods of time, at different parts of the world, different masters came. Were they all wearing the same dress? Were they all portraying themselves in the same way externally? No. But internally they had reached the same state. So if you get attuned to the externalities, then what you are receiving will become very limited. Similarly, some people, they get attuned to the emotions. Oh, my guru is the best guru because he shows so much of kindness. Always he has some kind words for us. Does that mean many yogis who were a little harsh externally, they were not true masters? It is the motive which matters. As we were saying, it is the intention, not the words. So some people get attuned to merely the emotions. Some people get attuned to the thoughts of a master. Oh, what he says is very logical. You may say that, but if you stop with that, if you don't penetrate and go further, further means further deep, then that becomes a block. Because there are many things which cannot be communicated through logic. Logic is just a very small aspect in spirituality. What is logic? Logic is establishing a certain cause and effect, and both those things you should know. Within the known realms, if you do something methodically, that is called logic. But spirituality is dealing with the unknown. All logic fails. The moment we talk about the infinite, it is beyond conception. The intellect cannot conceive it. So, how can logic be applied there? So when you get attuned to merely the thoughts and ideas of a master, that is one level. You get stuck there. But beyond the externalities, external appearance, beyond the words, beyond the emotions, beyond the thoughts and ideas, what is the energy which the master is radiating? A true student will be able to catch that, will be able to absorb that. That is called attunement. In the pre-Vedic times, the very spiritual training was given only in silence. The students just used to go and live with the master. And day by day, they went on absorbing the energy. And suddenly they were transformed. Actually, it was not a sudden transformation. The transformation was gradual, but you notice it, or it starts manifesting suddenly. So it looks as if it has happened suddenly. But the actual transformation is gradual. But how did that happen? It's by absorbing that energy. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, why 18 chapters? Arjuna was prepared to surrender. But it took so long for him not to merely intellectually understand. That is easy, one chapter is enough. Or even one chapter is not required. But for him to attune at least a little bit to the frequency of Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna was an avatar. He was emanating the infinite energy all the time. He was vibrating at the infinite frequency. So even to get attuned a little bit, that takes a while. But if you are successful in doing that, the benefits will be enormous. 1% of attunement to the energy of a master will benefit you more than tons and tons of knowledge which you may gain. That is what is very interesting. So that's why when such verses come where he changes the energy pattern a little bit, where he becomes more direct, which means there is a change of energy pattern, we are pausing there, and I am trying to get you attuned to that energy flow. The depth of these principles anyway we are going to see, and we are seeing every week. But for you to get attuned to that higher energy or whatever energy flow which is going, that is the most difficult thing. So even when you're doing your sadhana, beginners usually ask this question, I'm not sure whether I'm doing the sadhana properly or not. You're talking about the procedures, but as you go deeper, like last week also I had taken up that question, no? When you say go deep within, what exactly should I feel? Now, these sort of questions come in the early stages, but you will have to understand the principle. As long as you are fundamentally doing your sadhana, thereafter, what will help you to get transformed is the absorption of the energy by getting attuned to the higher frequency. For that, you need to relax and you need to surrender. Surrendering is not giving up your efforts. You're willing to put in all the efforts. That's why you're doing the sadhana. Surrendering means surrendering your ego and your individuality so that you can absorb the higher energy. A student who masters that knack now will start progressing very fast. So sometimes even when you're doing sadhana for quite a long time, suddenly you may get this doubt. What am I supposed to do? Am I following the instructions or not? I'm saying during meditation. Remember one thing, even during the meditation sessions, it is written, the meditation is in progress, follow the instructions. Even in the empowerment program, the empowerment meditation is in progress, kindly close your eyes and follow the instructions. See, when it is said follow the instructions, that is only to start with. Gently close your eyes, do deep breathing, all that you can start. But the moment you get attuned to the higher and you start doing deep breathing, thereafter, what do we mean by follow the instructions? That is not for your conscious mind. That is for your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind, your deeper mind will automatically start following the instructions. So you will be in a very deep state. Sometimes when you're not used to the meditative state, you may wonder, have I fallen off to sleep or was I awake? You were present. Like one sadhak told me that, whenever he attends the Yoga Sankirtan release event, when we launch, he said this experience is more pronounced when attending a live session. It is, I just sit there and sir, you say close your eyes, and then the whole Yoga Sankirtan is going, and I wonder whether I've fallen off to sleep. But finally, when you say gently open your eyes, automatically I open my eyes. So what he was trying to say is, when you say open your eyes, I'm becoming aware and I'm opening my eyes, which means I was not asleep. Sometimes even after saying open your eyes, or even after the sadhana is over, you may still be in that state for a while and then you will come out. So he was asking me, so what state was I in? Was I in sleep or was I dreaming? Was I this? I said no point in analyzing. These are all higher states of consciousness. As you go deeper and deeper into meditation, so many things you will experience. Initially, you may not have control over them, but as you progress in your path, you will become a yogi. You will start becoming more aware of these things, and they will come under your control. That is a very advanced stage. So when the instructions are given, for example, when the instruction is given, gently close your eyes, that you can do deep breathing, that you can do. But when it is said, now relax completely, now how are you going to follow it externally? You cannot. It is an instruction to your deeper mind. So if you have just surrendered and if you are sitting there, automatically your mind will start relaxing. And then you will go off into a very deep state. There, if you are going to analyze, relaxing means what should I feel? Should I now be like this? Should I be... If you start thinking like that, then your conscious mind is becoming active. You are actually coming out of the state of meditation. So remember this. All the sadhanas which are given are directed towards changing your energy pattern. So the meditation sadhana, when done in a yogic way, which is what we do the nididhyasana here, and in the yoga sankirtan in a very deep way, the empowerment programs in an extremely deep way, when those sadhanas are given to you, you should learn to relax and allow the experience to unfold. That is called getting attuned. Attuning yourself to the higher energy. So in this verse, in the last two sessions, I have been emphasizing on that energy flow. Get a hang of it. Why am I saying that? Because it's a great opportunity. So as you progress spiritually, you will start becoming more energy sensitive. See, everything starts first with the energy, whether negative or positive. And then that manifests as a thought. A thought manifests as an emotion. Emotion manifests as an action or speech, the words. Now generally, people understand the situation only after the full manifestation. But if you become a little more subtle, even before a person speaks, you can start feeling what that person's emotions are. It means you have become more subtle. Even before a person brings out an emotion, if you are able to locate the thoughts, then you will know what that person is thinking. Oh, this is how it will unfold. But as you progress in your sadhana, a stage will come where even before the thought comes, before any kind of manifestation, you will become very energy sensitive. You will be able to clearly read this energy pattern is positive or negative. Then that puts you in a very strong position. You are at an advantage. Before a problem can surface, when you are able to scan the energy, then you can easily prevent so many things. You can work on changing the energy pattern from its roots. So these practices which are being given here, when I'm asking you to do the homework, I'm asking you to feel the love energy behind a harsh word which Lord Krishna is using. What are those practices meant for? Not merely for your intellectual understanding. It is to make you more energy sensitive. It's to make you more deep. Whatever practices are being given every Sunday, now they will start giving you results in your life, in all aspects of your life. Because when you start becoming more energy sensitive, then you will be able to understand others better. You will be able to read a situation with more clarity. Not only that, when a challenge confronts you, you will be able to get to the solutions very fast because you are attacking the root. So it's not only here. Every day when you're doing your sadhana, you should practice that. See, now the empowerment course is going on, the 22 days, attracting abundance. You can practice it there. When you're sitting there, sit with full attunement and just go with the flow. After that, when you're going to do your daily sadhana, Every day when you sit, just invoke the Guru Shakti, invoke the higher grace, and then you can play the audio and close your eyes and start doing the deep breathing, and you can start getting attuned. And don't fix anything. This should happen today. Why am I not feeling calm? Why am I not feeling this? Oh, my spouse said, actually this happened. One man was telling me, sir, my wife, she experienced this. Why am I not getting that experience? See, even in sadhana, you are trying to compare. We are saying don't compare at all. Even when it comes to spirituality, people start comparing. So all these things happen because of a lack of understanding. So whatever is best suited for you will be given to you. Whatever will help you to move forward, that experience will be given to you. With that trust, with that faith and devotion, if you just focus on relaxing and getting attuned and going along with the energy flow which unfolds on that particular moment, at that particular moment during your sadhana, it will be so wonderful. And once you start practicing that, it will become a part of your nature. Thereafter, whenever you get into any situation, you will just learn to flow with the energy. You will not resist something and create a lot of confusion. See, this is what they're saying, no? Trends are changing. So normally many people use this phrase. I've heard this a lot. Generation gap, they say. A yogi will not have any generation gap and all that, because as the trend is changing, now he will be able to attune to that energy. It's not a big thing. So that is why people from any generation will be comfortable with a master. A child will also be very comfortable. A baby also will be very comfortable. You know, babies actually directly get attuned to the energy. A teenager will be very comfortable, will feel very free, will not hesitate to express and seek clarifications. Why? Because the teenager boy or girl can clearly feel that, yes, the master is being non-judgmental. An adult also will feel comfortable. An elderly person will be comfortable. No generation gap. Generation gap is when you are sticking on to something without being flexible. That is when the generation gap is created. Because many people say, oh, I am having problems with my children or with my grandchildren. Why? Because of generation gap. Who created this generation gap? It is your attitude which creates. So learn to go with the flow. Like some people, they say, today everything has changed. Even the financial transactions and all have become digital. Gone are the days where, we used to go to the bank and do all the transactions and all. I am not able to relate to this. Then you will be left out. Technology is advancing. I am not able to learn all this. The moment you say I am unable to learn, you yourself are restricting your capacity. Today, it has been scientifically also proven that that portion of the brain, which is the learning center, that is always active even when you are old physically. That's what the yogis have been saying right from those days. One by one, slowly, when we get the scientific proofs, at least at that time, you should wake up. So, the whole trick here is to get attuned to the energy flow which is being set verse after verse. And once you get attuned to the energy flow, and then when we go into the depth, it will become very easy for you to absorb. So, nourished by sacrifice, yajna bhavitaha. Last time we saw that. So, two very important principles. One is the yajna and the other is bhavana. So, what is your intention behind every action? That is what is going to determine whether you will progress or whether you're going to devolve. And when you're having that bhava of yajna, now you will continuously evolve. It is not about the external action, but it is about the bhava, the inner attitude, intention. So, nourished by sacrifice, the gods will give you the desired enjoyments. Deva dasyante ishtan bhogan. Ishtan bhogan means whatever it is that those enjoyments which you have desired, now all that will be given to you. By whom? By Devaha, by the gods. Why are they giving you? Because they have been nourished by your bhavana, yajna bhava. See, the whole thing is internal. The external ritual is symbolic of what is happening internally. So externally you may be performing the ritual. I am performing yajna, but you are doing it with all the wrong bhava. You are irritated, you are jealous about somebody else, you are very egoistic, you are comparing yourself with others. And then externally you are doing the ritual. Now, will that really fetch you results? You will have to think. It is like a person, let's say, is worshipping goddess Saraswati every day, but he is not studying, a student. He doesn't study anything, but simply he is just worshipping Saraswati. Big ritual also is performed. Come on, let us invoke the energy of Saraswati. But his efforts as far as studying is concerned is zero. What results do you think he'll get? Unless he backs it up with this, he is not going to get any results. It's the same thing. Yajna bhava is most important. That's why I told you in the previous verses, the very word yajna, yaj bhavena yajna, that's how it's defined. The bhava only defines the word yajna. And then further to that, he also says yajna bhavita. Again he uses the word. Yajna itself is complete. It means bhava only. And then to ensure that you don't misunderstand, he is adding the word bhava and he is combining those two so that there are no chances of misunderstanding. Yet the mind misunderstands. That is the illusion, So, nourished by sacrifice, the gods will give you the desired enjoyment. So, what is he talking about here? The gods will give you the desired enjoyment. He is talking about the law of life, the fundamental law of life. And that is, when you work for the higher cause, then all your lower desires will be fulfilled. This is the law of life. This is a spiritual law. Whenever you work for the higher cause, all your lower desires means the desires pertaining to the lower level will all get fulfilled in a very smooth way. As a sadhak, you will begin to experience this. There was one sadhak who was sharing his experience with me. He was saying that, he was always putting efforts to reach out these things to as many people as possible, to get more people introduced to this. He was saying, as I started doing that, many of my small goals, desires, everything started fructifying on their own. So he was calling it a miracle. It is actually not a miracle. See, when you don't understand the cause and effect, we say it's a miracle. That way, whole life is a miracle only. But there is a method behind it, and that is this law. When you understand this law, then you can effectively use it to your advantage. Whenever you are caught up with your desires, whenever you are stuck with your goals, say, I am very carefully using the word caught up with your desires, stuck with your goals. Please mark those words. I'm not saying don't fix a goal or don't have any desires, not that. Whenever you're caught up with your desires, means you're a slave to your desires, which is called karma. Karma means being a slave to your desire. An uncontrolled desire is called karma. Or you're stuck with your goals. Means the goals which you have fixed are now causing a lot of anxieties for you, within you. You start worrying about them. Then that energy pattern will not allow you to get the object of desire. This is a law. This is what Swami Ramatirtha said. Attach you lose, detach you gain. Whenever you are attached to something, you lose it, he says. And whenever you are detached, you will get it. And having got something, again the choice is there every moment. At any point of time when you get attached, you will start losing it. This is so true, whether it is with respect to wealth or whether it is with respect to name, fame, power, position, relationships, people also. You will find the relationship becoming sour where there is attachment. Again, when we use the word detachment, you will think an emotionless state. No, we are only talking of being a slave there, where your happiness is completely dependent on that object. That is what we call as a slavish state. Whereas the law is, when you work for the higher cause, when you work means not merely externally, when you are inspired and when you work for the higher cause. I am redefining that law, just adding that word inspired, because otherwise you may misunderstand. Working for the higher cause means not mechanically working for the higher cause. No. When you function with that inspiration, when that inspiration is missing, somebody has to keep telling you, somebody has to keep reminding you, then the inspiration is missing. Where there is inspiration, you will take ownership. You will take that responsibility. So whenever you work for the higher cause, the amazing thing is all the lower desires will be fulfilled. How? Because the energy pattern changes. You start absorbing the higher energy. Now that will start dissolving all the blocks at the lower level automatically. All the sadhanas, whether it is karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, what are they trying to do? They are trying to get your mind attuned to the higher energy. Here the chapter is karma yoga, so we'll stick to that right now. So when you are functioning in a spirit of karma yoga, what is karma yoga? Doing your actions but oblating them to the higher cause. That is what is true karma yoga. So when you're doing that, you're constantly absorbing the higher energy into your system. Now that will start removing all the blocks which are not allowing the desires to get fructified at the lower level. So the connection may not be apparent, but there is a deeper connection. That is why it is always said by the great yogis that keep doing your daily sadhana consistently. All your problems will get solved. Why do they say that? Because you are constantly tapping into the higher energy. And once the higher energy is tapped, it will make you do those things effortlessly in order to fulfill a desire, in order to materialize a particular goal. If you are lacking confidence in an area, it will give you confidence so that you will go and act there. If a particular issue is a reality and you are unable to accept it, like for example, let us say a near and dear one has passed away. Now that is not under your control, but you are unable to accept it and you are suffering because of that. Now when you tap into the higher energy, it will remove all the karmic blocks and it will give you that peace and serenity to accept whatever has happened in a calm way, in a balanced way. So the higher energy will start functioning in your life if you tap into it. And one effective way is yajna bhava, karma yoga. When you start functioning in a spirit of yajna, when you bring that bhava, you will start tapping the higher energy. And whenever you associate yourself with the master, this yajna bhava will be triggered. It will keep on increasing within you. Why? Because what he is giving is also the higher energy. So that will have to elevate you. That will have to elevate your consciousness and inspire you. So when you first, for example, I'm saying, see, we are having these Sunday sessions week after week. This is a higher cause, the cause of genuinely giving the wisdom to anyone who wants to learn this. It's only one has to show the intention, then they can learn this. So when you first start getting exposed to that, you will become very inspired. Oh, this point, I never thought spirituality is like this. I never thought spirituality is so liberal. Some youngsters have told me that, Okay, that is an all for a start. And you will start getting a lot of benefits when you do the Yoga Sankirtan Sadhana, when you attend an empowerment program. That is one level. But then as that starts happening, automatically you will become inspired and you will go to the next level. Here we are consciously trying to implant it. Anyway it will happen. But when you consciously do it, the growth will be expedited. What is that next level? I am benefited. Similarly, others also should benefit. Then you are entering into the realm of yajna bhava, the higher principles. So let me now introduce this to as many people as possible. Whether they follow this or not, that is not under my control. if you don't understand this, you will become agitated. Some people, they introduce their friends and then they keep on checking. Are you watching? They keep saying no. Then they get very agitated about it. That is, then you are slipping from yajna bhava. Yajna means without any expectations doing whatever you have to do. That is what is real yajna. So automatically your consciousness gets elevated. How can I contribute? Why I am bringing that word contribute is because in the next line he is going to cover that. The second line of this verse and then in the next verse. He is going to talk about contribution. When you don't contribute anything, he says, stena, thief. He uses strong words. So that bhava will automatically be triggered. And when you consciously start practicing it, then your consciousness will go on growing. It will start expanding. So in each and every action which you perform, ensure that these three factors are there. Number one, yajna, that is number one, your bhava, which is your attitude. Number two, yajna. And number three, devaha, God. God means higher goal. I have explained to you what God means from, what devaha means from the cosmic level, from the external level, internal level, all that we have seen in the previous verse. So we are not going to get into all that now. Again, if you want, you can always go back and do a study of that again to get further established. But now, to summarize the whole thing, I am giving you another angle. In every action which you perform, there are three things, three factors which are there. Number one, your attitude, which he calls as bhava. Number two, yajna. Means, are you functioning in a spirit of yajna or are you being selfish? The degree of selfishness will vary. And number three is your goal. Whether your goal is lower or whether your goal is higher. Now what he is saying is, in each and every action which you perform, ensure that number one, your bhavana is very pure, your intention is pure. Number two, implement the yajna principle in that. And number three, go on increasing the quality of your goal from selfish to further and further higher. As the goal becomes higher, your inspiration will also become more. The energy flow will start changing. So if you ensure that these three factors are there behind each and every action of yours, he says, all your desires will be fulfilled. Success will come to you. You don't need to run behind success. What is the difference between a yogi and a normal person? Normal person runs behind success. No, a yogi creates a very conducive situation within himself. Success will start coming behind him. So this is the true meaning of the gods will give you the desired enjoyments. So first thing is you have to act. The very chapter itself is Karma Yoga. You can't afford to be lazy. We are not even considering that. If you are lazy, then no question of right bhav and this, that and all. So when you are acting in life, now look at these three factors. Number one, what is my intention? Is my bhavana pure or is it impure? See, for example, an impure the difference I'm giving you. Let's say you're working in office. What is your bhavana? Is your bhavana to impress others? Then that becomes an impure bhavana. Or are you comparing yourself with somebody else? It may be your own sister or your own brother or maybe your own friend. The moment you start comparing and when the jealousy and all starts, then your bhavana becomes impure. Even if you are fearing, that is an impure bhavana. Anything which pulls you down, that is called impurity. Anything which elevates you, that is called purity. So, whenever you act, ensure that the bhavana is pure, number one. If you are finding that no lot of impurity is there in your bhavana, during your daily sadhana, release all those factors. Just bring that intention and then sit for the sadhana. The Guru Shakti will come and guide you and release it for you. By doing the deep breathing, allow it to surface and throw them out of your system. On a daily basis, you can practice this. So this is number one. And number two, yajna. The principle of yajna needs to be incorporated. What is the principle of yajna? We have seen that in detail. This entire thing is talking about yajna only. Is there a proper give and take? Am I giving enough? Actually, we are going to see that from the second line onwards, where if you don't give anything and if your focus is only on taking, he says that is the lowest. That's what he calls as a thief. If you're doing giving and taking like a business-like attitude, then that will cause a lot of stress, he says. Why? All that we'll be seeing when it comes to next verse. But if your accent is on giving and taking is an automatic process, then you will get maximum benefits, he says. So, you should incorporate that yajna principle in your activities. For example, you're working in your office. Oh, they are not recognizing me, they are not doing. Leave out all that. What am I supposed to contribute? Let me do it to the best of my ability. Recently, a sadhak had sent a mail to me saying that many years back he had met me in the behind the stage. That time we were having these sessions in the auditorium. So he came to the green room after the session was over and he asked me, "Sir, I want to grow further in my career. What should I do?" I just told him one small principle. It's the same principle only. Any work which you're doing, give 120% minimum. Means, let's say you're charging an X amount of money for some work which you're doing. Now, do more than whatever you're taking. Let's say you're doing some work, you're charging 1,000 rupees for that. Now, do work for 1,500 rupees or 1,200 rupees. The yogic principle, they say 4 times minimum you should do more. Now, if that is too much, at least 20% more. The highest yogic principle, which is yajna, is infinite times more. Just focus on giving. Taking is anyway automatic. That's going to happen. You will get back everything in return. Much more than what you require. So this was told to him. And this happened probably 10-15 years back. And today he has sent a mail saying that, "Sir, I just took that principle which you told me. I took it as the instructions, the divine instructions which were given to me, and I started practicing it." He said, "The result is I've grown in my career tremendously. I started getting recognized in my work. And not only that, I have bought a house now in America. I've bought a house in India. I started from scratch." When I was reading his mail, it was so nice. It was so inspiring. I'm just sharing it with all of you so that, you also get inspired. See, when good things are happening in another person's life, that should inspire you. That should make you more happy. Again, if your bhavana is not pure, you will say, "Oh, it happened to him. Why isn't it happening to me?" First, feel very happy. He has said, so much of growth way beyond my imagination has happened. Just by following that principle. I started working much more than what was expected from me by the management. With a genuine bhavana. That is the power of what is being told here. And when this bhava, the yajna bhava, and what we mean by higher goals also I'll explain. When that is being practiced continuously, a time would come where you would be prepared to do anything for the sake of God. See, today when you say, I want enlightenment, I want God realization, it is not 100% true. You're not wanting it single pointedly. But the day you say, I am prepared to sacrifice anything for the sake of that highest experience, that moment you will get enlightened. And it is not about saying verbally. It is about resolving all the inner issues, becoming a clean slate where all the karmas are burnt up. Only at that point of time you will be able to say that. So right from now itself, when you keep practicing that, finally you will apply it at the highest level and you will become a sthita prajna. So you will have to move up gradually. From whatever level you are in right now, your immediate goal should be to move to the next level. That is what is meant by Devaha. If you remember, when the principle of Devaha was explained to you in the previous verse, this point was given to you that Devaha basically means God. Devan or Devaha means gods in plural. So there is a gradation of gods. The highest is the infinite God, God beyond all gods. That is the infinite. And then next level, next level, next level. Like that, there is a gradation. So anything which is beyond your present level is called God. And then as you grow spiritually, when you keep fixing higher and higher goals and ideals, you're increasing the godliness, that is the divinity within you, the divine element within you. So when you're functioning in life, all the time you're thinking only about yourself, I, me, myself. That is the lowest state. Then you expand your vision. You say, I am there, my family is also there. Then you have started instilling the principle of yajna a little bit. Your identification has grown where you're able to include your family also, others. And then you increase your identification further. I, my family, my society. And then you further go on expanding your identification. Not only my society, my country, not only my country, this entire world, humanity. Not only humanity, this whole universe. Any creature which is there, anything which is there. So when you start expanding your identification thus, then you are generating that yajna bhava and directing it towards gods. Gods means a higher being. So this is how you move from selfishness to unselfishness and from unselfishness to the highest selflessness, which is nothing but attuning yourself, expanding your identification and attuning yourself to the infinite formless reality. You cannot jump and straightaway do that. So your action being the same, your motive behind that action can be selfish, unselfish or selfless. This is what I want you to notice. You should do some self-observation and see what is happening within you. You don't need to do any special activities. The same activities which you're doing. Now, if you're only focused on I, me, myself, the extreme case of that is what he is giving in the second line of this verse, where he says, one who enjoys everything but nothing in he does not give anything in return, such a person is a thief, he says. That is extreme selfishness. It's all a question of gradation only. So you have to find out, am I at that level or am I at the level of family? Am I stuck with the family? Again, we are not talking of externally doing or not doing. I'm talking of your identification. Yes, you have the primary duty towards your child. No doubt about it. But what should prevent you from loving all children equally? But no, your love itself becomes centered around one person. That is called attachment. Remember, you have to do your duties in life, and naturally if you have raised a family, your duty lies there, external duty. But there is nothing which prevents you from expanding your consciousness, from expanding your identification and loving everyone else. The moment you start doing that, then you started functioning for a higher goal, for a higher purpose. So supposing you're doing a particular activity, I'm doing this activity so that it will give me happiness and I alone should be happy. This is one thing. No, I'm doing this action so that let my family benefit. You're also included in that. Because you may ask me, sir, if I work for others, what will happen to me? That's why I told you, parasparam means give and take. You're also included in a bigger unit, no? Then the same activity you're doing, I'm doing it as a contribution towards the whole society. I'm doing it as a contribution towards whole of humanity. The moment you change your inner vision thus, the inspiration will become tremendous. The power behind your actions will become infinite. Then he says, all your lower desires will be fulfilled. Why? Because the karmic blocks which are preventing from your desires from materializing, from your goals from materializing, will all be wiped away. This is the power of this statement where he says, the gods will give you the desired enjoyments. So you work for the higher cause will protect you. The higher cause will give you everything. That's why earlier he compared the principle of yajna to the divine cow, wish-fulfilling cow, Kamadhenu. He said that, no, Ishta Kama Dukha. That cow which will give you everything, he said. Why? This is the reason. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you can start practicing this by changing your internal attitude. Even when you're attending these sessions, only I should benefit, nobody else should benefit. Is there any meaning in that? Oh, I'm benefited so much. Let others also benefit. The moment you start thinking on those lines, now you will find your inspiration will start growing. Not only that, when you start functioning like that, then the Guru Shakti is forced to give you more. Because you get more prepared, you get more purified. Merely by asking more higher energy, you cannot get it. It is by changing your motive from selfishness to further and further higher motives. On one extreme is selfishness, other extreme is selflessness. Everything in between, relative grades of, we can say selfishness or selflessness, which we call as unselfishness. 10%, 20%, 30%, like that you will keep on growing. Keep on purifying your inner personality. And success will come to you, all the desired enjoyments, whatever it is that you're wanting, all that will be fulfilled. Now, there is a catch there. You may ask me, sir, supposing a person wants negative things, will that also get fulfilled? No. Because the moment you're wanting negative things, now how can you function for the higher goal? He's saying only the yajna bhavita means nourished by the yajna, the gods. So three things, bhavana. So when you're wanting negative things, your bhavana will be impure, number one. You cannot function in a spirit of yajna, and your goal will also be very selfish only. So you cannot practice this when your desires are impure or negative. So the practice of this sadhana, that is incorporating these three aspects in your actions, will automatically start purifying your desires also. In case you have very negative desires, destructive desires and all that will go away from your system. It will bring about a transformation from within. Supposing you're very jealous of your neighbor and you want something negative to happen to him, if you start practicing the right bhava, yajna and devaha, that is a higher goal, automatically all that jealousy, everything will get purified, will all go away. And you will start wishing for the welfare of that person. That is only the higher cause, no? So, in case the desires are negative, you don't need to worry. Such a person will not be able to follow this. So take this up as a homework. This is today's homework for you. Make a start today. This is a homework for you for the rest of your life. Incorporate these three factors. Bhavana means purification of your bhavana, instilling the spirit of yajna and functioning for a higher cause, higher than whatever your present level is. When you associate yourself with the master, automatically you will start functioning for the higher cause, because a true master always works for the highest cause. He is totally selfless. So you cannot associate with the master and continue with the selfishness. It's not possible. Okay, so we'll stop with that. It's a very powerful principle which has been given to you. I want you to reflect on these principles, start practicing them in your life, and come back with more energy next week. We'll go into it further. So before we do the Nididhyasana, I will take up one question. So this question has been put in the YouTube comment section. Dear Yogishri, Hari Om and thank you for all the powerful sessions. I request an advice. We all face situations when we have to console someone who has lost a family member. As sadhaks, how to handle this situation and comfort them? Please advise. Namaste. Now, it's a very practical question which he has asked. See, when you face a situation, this is something which all of us face. It's not only about another person losing his or her near and dear one. It could be another person going through any challenge in life. How do you console them? How do you guide them? How do you help them? Now, I'll give a common answer. I'll give the principle behind it. You think about it, and if you have further clarifications, you can always ask. See, when another person is going through an issue, let's take your example. He has lost some near and dear one. Now that person is going through a lot of sorrow. Now what does that person require? That person requires strength, emotional strength, number one. Number two, the person requires the help of the higher energy, the higher Shakti. That alone will give him that inner strength. And that person also requires the higher wisdom of life to be able to take that experience in a balanced way. When he has no understanding about what life is, what birth is, what death is, it is impossible to get over that sorrow just like that. Maximum what will happen is over a period of time, all that sorrow will be pushed within. Which is what they say, time is the best healer. Time doesn't heal anything. It only suppresses and pushes everything inside. In order to provide these three, you need to first have that inner strength. You need to be spiritually evolved. Only a spiritually evolved person can provide that inner support to the other person. That is why we keep on saying do sadhana. So you should first do sadhana. If you are affected by the other person's suffering, how will you be able to help that person? He is already crying. If you are also affected, if you bring in that energy of sorrow, now you will only add on to that person's sorrow. So that's why when I was explaining the principle of yajna, I said self-help is first. Self-help is not selfishness. Self-help, self-care. So first rule is you should do your sadhana meticulously, and day by day you should become very strong. Number one. Number two, when a person is going through any kind of challenge, that is the best time. You can introduce that this knowledge to that person. You can pass on the links and say, start watching this, start doing some sadhana, this will help you. That's what you can do. Whether that person chooses or not is not under your control. Because this alone, this higher wisdom alone can truly help a person to face any challenge in life. The remaining things and all will only kind of temporarily help. So your duty is to provide them an opportunity to learn the higher values. See, that's what happened to Arjuna, no? He never wanted to learn these higher values from Krishna. He was his best friend, no? Krishna and Arjuna were so close as friends, but he never learned the higher wisdom and all so much. But when he faced a challenge where he was unable to handle the situation, he broke down completely. Now he utilized that opportunity to take higher guidance, to receive the higher wisdom from Lord Krishna. So when a person has lost a near and dear one, on one hand that person will be sorrowful, but on the other hand that person will also be in a state where that person will be available to gain the higher wisdom. So that small seva you can do. Actually, it's not a small seva, it's a very big seva. But without being strong, if you directly try to get into advising and all that, the result will be you will get more affected, and whatever little peace of mind which you have also will go away. And that experience will create a lot of stress and fear within you also. So remember, practically you can uplift others only to the extent you have uplifted yourself. You can't function beyond your capacity. More than that, you will have to link the other person to this higher wisdom. It's happened in many sadhaks when their friends or someone face some challenges. They said, at least now, why don't you start attending these sessions? And when the friends were receptive and they started attending, they found that they were able to get that inner strength to face the challenge, and that inspired them to continue with the sadhana. Many sadhaks have done that. But remember one thing, you cannot take the responsibility for another person's happiness or sorrow. You can do to the best of your ability, whatever you have to do. But more than that, that person has to choose. That is where this wisdom gives you that detachment. So on one hand, you should have unconditional love. You should always be there to serve. On the other hand, you should also have detachment. Otherwise, in the name of service, you will get very affected. Because many a times you want to help someone, but the other person is not willing to receive it. They want to go on, get enmeshed in that problem only. So I have given you the deeper principles. The practicality is also there, but I focused more on giving you the deeper principles. Just think about that, and if you have further clarifications, you can come back. Okay? The bottom line is, don't miss your sadhana. Because the same situation can come to you also tomorrow. Are you first strong enough to face that? And when you focus on your sadhana, when you keep on growing spiritually, your very presence will have a calming effect on the other person. It's not about verbally saying things. Your energy field itself will calm the other person. That is the real seva. Okay? So now we'll do the Nididhyasana meditation. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am becoming more and more relaxed. Feel the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond my physical body, beyond my emotions and thoughts, lies my higher self. My higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to incorporate the three factors: pure bhavana, the principle of yajna, and working for the higher cause in all my actions. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So today we had a very powerful session. Many higher principles have been given to you. It is up to you to absorb them and start practicing them. It is only by sincere practice that you can master all these and you can create a transformation within yourself. All the inputs are being given to you. The healing energy is being sent to you. Now you have to play your part. You have to put in your efforts. That is one thing which you need to ensure from your end. So these three principles, pure bhavana, yajna, the principle of yajna, and then the principle of devaha, higher and higher goals. They will truly purify you. They'll give you a very fulfilled life here and also give you the highest experience. Okay? So I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.